Good evening and thank you for watching us here on NTV's Grow. Tonight on the show, the Senate passes a version of the Farm Bill. We have reaction, water rights are put under the microscope, and pivot dealers see an uptick in business. First, let's get to that Farm Bill. The last time Congress passed a Farm Bill, Democrats were in control, and the food stamp program was about half the size it is today. That was 5 years ago. And now this week, a step forward on a new Farm Bill. Monday, the Senate overwhelmingly voted to expand farm subsidies and make small cuts to food stamps as part of a 5-year, $500 billion measure. However, passage in the House might not be so easy or so bipartisan. Conservatives are calling for a complete overhaul of the domestic food aid program. The House is expected to take up their version of the bill later this month. And Senator Mike Johanns, he weighed in after Monday's vote on the Farm Bill.
Just last week, the United States Senate completed work on its version of the Farm Bill. And I might add, it passed with significant bipartisan support. So this brings us a step closer to a long-term ag policy that I hope will give Nebraska farmers and ranchers certainty. They need that to run successful operations. It's not the Farm Bill that I would have drafted. It's better than no Farm Bill at all, however, and I do believe it's a better Farm Bill than what was passed out of the House Ag Committee. The Senate bill does a number of things. It streamlines conservation programs, it reduces spending, it does strengthen the crop insurance program, and I guess most importantly, it avoids reverting back to a 1940s ag policy that is really incompatible with modern agriculture. The current policy expires on September 30th of this year, giving lawmakers just under 4 months to finalize our action. So what's the next step? Now it's up to the House of Representatives to pass its version of a Farm Bill, which must then be merged into a Senate-passed bill, which will likely happen through a conference committee, and then it gets done and it's sent to the President for his signature. So it is my hope that the House acts quickly so that we can finish this process and provide farmers and ranchers with the certainty that they need.
Senator Deb Fischer also offered her thoughts on the bill, saying, quote, "The multi-year Farm Bill goes a long way in providing certainty for Nebraska farmers so they can continue to produce healthy, safe products to feed the nation and the world. Failure to pass this legislation would cause America's agriculture policies to revert back to those of the World War II era. An untenable position for hardworking Nebraskans competing in a competitive global market," end quote. And the Farm Bill was also the subject of our poll question. We asked you how you think the money should be divided in the Farm Bill. Water is life, and several senators want to ensure that there's plenty left for generations to come. This is a challenge, a lofty one. They want to do this within 6 months' time. It's a challenge facing a task force that's bringing together farmers, industry, and environmental concerns, all with a limited budget and limited time. NTV's Grow co-host Steve White takes a closer look.
We don't just go out and turn the well on anymore and let the water run.
Getting the most out of every drop of water. Dick Mercer says that's one of the biggest changes he's seen in 60 years of farming. Drought especially has shown how valuable irrigation is to Nebraska agriculture.
But then you turn around, you've got municipalities that will tell you it's just as important.
And that's the challenge as State Senator Tom Carlson launches the Water Task Force.
We need to have a policy of water sustainability in Nebraska. And that means that on average, we're not using any more water than what our supply provides us.
But is this new task force too ambitious with a limited amount of time and dollars to make things happen?
Some of the people that I have visited too wonder just how we will get past some of those challenges.
It's going to be a lot of work, and we've scheduled 28 full days between the 1st of June and the middle of December.
There's the time element that we need to get it done, and then there's the funding. And if there's anyone any more important than the other one, it's the funding.
Dick Mercer says it'll be tough for everyone to get past their own concerns.
To put it bluntly, some of us go there with turf control in mind, and we hate to give it up.
Mercer says they have to find a compromise, but Senator Carlson says it's worth the effort.
We then not only have taken care of our water issues, but we have guaranteed financial stability in agriculture and the rest of the state.
Stretch the resources to get to where it's needed the most.
Mercer is just one of 40 members that will be on this task force. They hope to have recommendations out by the end of the year so that the legislature can act next session. And water issues, that's just one part of the agenda that will be facing senators. So this leads us now to your poll question. We want to know which of these issues is most important for Nebraska policymakers: water sustainability, tax reform, or economic development. Log on to Nebraska.tv. Click on NTV's Grow to cast your vote. We'll bring you the results next Sunday. As you go by Nebraska fields, you might look up, see a few spray planes, or farmers are getting tanks ready to apply some spray themselves. And when they do this, they want to make sure every single drop counts. There is research that shows just exactly how the size of each little drop makes a difference.
You want to make sure that you get good coverage on the leaf that you're after, and you can get too large of a droplet so you don't get good coverage, and a lot of times those large droplets will bounce off the leaf, as you see on the bottom right. What you really want to do is the bottom left type of the applications. You have a 200 micron droplet size. Now that's about the thickness of 2 sheets of paper, and you get the most out of your herbicides or insecticides, fungicides, those types of things.
Another tip from Jasnoch, he says to make sure you look over your sprayers, be sure they're calibrated correctly, and use the right nozzles. Some fields may be showing some resistance to certain chemicals used over the years. If you have questions, contact your local agronomist or check out the full interview on our website, Nebraska.tv. Sustainability is a buzzword in agriculture, and not just here in Nebraska. A rancher from Brazil was a featured speaker at the 2013 Water for Food Conference sponsored by the University of Nebraska. The event brought together those from around the world concerned about the use of water and land, especially in agriculture. This rancher says it's a big issue.
So this changed a lot to our operation. Huh? This decision changed our life.
Antonio runs a cattle ranch in Brazil. We will grow deeper on next week's show and learn how ranching in South America is different than here in Nebraska. It's no secret farming and ranching can be a lot of hard work, and if you're struck with an injury or disability, it can be devastating. And a lot of these farmers, if it happens to them, they just want to continue life as normal as possible. And one Missouri woman, along with the little money, is making this possible for farmers and ranchers. Pharm Dog USA is a nonprofit organization based out of Missouri. Dogs are trained extensively for farmers and ranchers in need of a specific assistance.
Why not go ahead and train it for a purpose, either to help with herding or to train it with service skills. A lot of people say, well, this is not a new idea. Well, no, herding is not a new idea. Service dogs is not a new idea. But the idea of training these dogs for farmers with a disability is the unique part.
Duke, a border collie like many of the dogs trained, is the first dog to be placed with a Nebraska farmer. For 8 years now, the organization has been placing dogs with farmers and ranchers in need. Many of those center pivots are being built, new ones across fields here in Nebraska. We'll find out what's driving this market. Also, we are here at an answer plot and find out what questions are being answered right here on NTV's Grow when we return.
My name is Rich Welton. I'm from Hastings, Nebraska, and I watch NTV's Grow on Sunday nights.